He's doing Wilt Chamberlain type stuff now.
Nikola
Jokić isn't just leading the MVP race this season. He's straight up taking over the whole league like it's his personal playground. Every night he's dropping almost 30, grabbing rebounds like he owns the paint, and dishing out more than 11 assists like he's a calm point guard running the show. His efficiency numbers look so wild that people double-check the box score just to make sure it's real. Watching him move out there doesn't even feel fair anymore. It's like he's playing chess while everyone else is still learning checkers, just gliding through defenses like he already knows the outcome before the ball leaves his hand. But once you dive into the historic numbers behind this season, that's when it really hits you how unbelievable this run is. Jokić is sitting on a PER of 37.0, the highest single-season mark the NBA has ever recorded. Higher than Giannis, higher than Wilt, higher than any version of himself we ever seen. This isn't just great basketball. This is a new standard players are going to be judged by for years. And when you look at everyone scoring 30 or more a night, Jokić is #1 in efficiency too, topping Curry, Giannis, and Adrian Datley like it's just another day at work. That's living in legendary territory, and he's strolling through it like he's taking a walk after lunch. And trust, it don't stop there. Jokić is already top 3 all-time in triple-doubles, sitting right behind Russell Westbrook and Oscar Robertson. And he adds new ones so often it feels like a weekly routine now.
Every 100 possessions that he's on the court, I want you to listen to what I'm about to say. I'm going to try to keep it under control. Every 100 possessions he's on the court, the Nuggets are scoring 151 points. Every 100 possessions he's on the court defensively, the Nuggets are giving up 104 points. That means every 100 possessions he's out there, the Nuggets are outscoring the opposition by 47 points. Okay.
On top
of that, he's #1 in NBA history in win shares per 48 minutes, ahead of giants like Michael Jordan, David Robinson, LeBron James, and Wilt Chamberlain. That stat is all about pure impact, and Jokić is sitting at the top like he paid rent there. Scroll through the leaderboards this season, and his name shows up everywhere. Rebounds, assists, defensive boards, assist percentage, offensive rating, win shares, box plus minus. The whole list is basically a Jokić highlight reel. At this point, you scrolling around just trying to find anything he isn't leading, and even that feels impossible. This isn't just an MVP campaign. This is one of those rare seasons people talk about decades from now. The kind future players mention when they say, that Jokić season, yeah, that was unreal. And when someone is smashing records and shining brighter than legends without even forcing it, you know you're watching a once-in-a-generation moment happening right in front of your eyes. The story around him starts getting wild too, because once you understand how historic Jokić season really is, everything happening in Denver suddenly feels way more dangerous than people thought. It's like the whole team is waking up at the perfect time. And honestly, the league might not be ready for the type of storm that's about to roll through.
Is doing stuff. It's wild, man. He's shooting 78% on 2-pointers. 78.
Yeah, that's a high
okay?
number.
He's leading the league in rebounds. He's leading the league in assists.
Make
sure you're locked in so you don't miss what comes next. Every season there's that one matchup where a team shows everyone who they truly are. And for Denver, that moment hit loud when they ran into the Rockets. Houston has been one of the toughest squads all year, so walking into their building without Aaron Gordon, who went down within minutes, and without Christian Braun should have spelled trouble. Road game, NBA Cup energy, the whole setup looking like a trap waiting to happen. But Denver didn't fold. They flipped the whole situation upside down. They didn't just escape with a lucky win. They walked in calm, controlled the tempo, shut down every run Houston tried to spark, and played like that same icy veteran squad the whole Western Conference played wouldn't wake back up this year. This game wasn't just about matchups. It revealed what kind of machine Denver truly is when they lock in. Houston usually needs 2 simple ingredients to ruin your night. Clamp down on defense and throw your rhythm off until your whole offense looks confused. They love dragging teams into that chaotic Houston-style pace where everything gets messy. But somehow Denver matched them step for step, staying poised and refusing to let the game get sloppy. They held the Rockets to just 12 points in the first quarter, which is basically unheard of this season. They survived Reed Shepherd dropping 27 like it was nothing. dealt with Houston snatching 17 offensive rebounds and still kept their cool when things got tight in the fourth. This whole matchup boiled down to 3 keys, and the first one was Denver flipping that secret defensive switch they only hit when they really serious. Even with Houston crashing the glass nonstop, Denver held them to just 7 for 17 on second-chance shots, forced tough mid-range looks, rotated clean, and refused to let Shepard's hot stretch turn into a full takeover.
Denver has a man who is playing at the absolute peak of his powers, and so nothing can be taken away from him. And Denver has the number 2 defense in the league.
The second key
was Nikola Jokić, basically decoding every trick Houston threw at him like he had the scouting report downloaded into his brain. Houston kept throwing everything at him like he was sitting there doing homework, and Jokić still cooked them without breaking a sweat. He dropped 34 points, grabbed 10 rebounds, and dished 9 assists. But those numbers don't even come close to showing how completely he owned that whole night. Every mid-range shot they dared him to take, cash. Every moment Jamal Murray struggled to find his rhythm, Jokić slowed the whole floor down and kept everyone steady, like a calm leader who already knew the end of the story. He even guarded Sengun straight up and made the biggest plays when the pressure finally hit. This was one of those nights where you could literally see the best player on the court dragging the entire game into his own tempo like he had the remote in his hand. And if you're rocking with this breakdown, hit that subscribe button because more heat is loading up right now. But hold on, before we keep cooking, big shout out to everyone watching and showing love. If you're rocking with the content, hit subscribe and smash that like button because it really keeps the channel moving and lets us keep dropping these deep dives. All right, let's lock back in because here's what people keep acting like they can't see. Jokic's defensive level this season is just as important as the numbers he's putting up on offense. Anyone still saying he's a weak defender simply isn't paying attention anymore because that old storyline doesn't match reality at all. Denver tightened up their whole defensive system, and Jokić is standing right in the middle of it, like the anchor holding everything together with his sharp positioning, perfect timing, and smart reads. He shuts down plays before they even get going. He's doing all of this without crazy speed or wild hops, yet he's still anchoring one of the toughest defenses in the league, like a steady pillar that never bends. What he brings on that end matters way more than any flashy chase-down block fans replay on highlight reels. And yeah, he already has 3 MVP trophies sitting at home. But if he keeps performing at this level, it's hard to picture anybody else stepping in and taking that award this season.
Out. These numbers that he is doing these are Wilt Chamberlain-esque numbers. I wasn't alive for Wilt Chamberlain had these numbers. You hear about these seasons. Wilt averaged 50 points and 25 rebounds, and he had 75 consecutive quadruple doubles or whatever. And you're like, I don't believe any of that.
He's moving like someone who wants the whole league to understand that this is his era, and he's proven it every single night. He's leading the top seed in a brutal Western Conference, putting up basically a 30-point triple-double on nearly 70% efficiency, while also being a real defensive force that makes his MVP case almost impossible to argue against. And the wild part, this version of Jokić genuinely feels different because Denver finally fixed 2 of their biggest issues from last season. Somehow, the Nuggets flipped both of those weaknesses into actual strengths, and people aren't giving it the spotlight it deserves. The most slept-on piece of Denver's whole season is how locked in they've been defensively from the very start. All off-season and throughout training camp, the Nuggets kept saying they wanted to boost their defensive energy and climb into that top 10 range. And now they're backing it up in real time with results you can't ignore. This whole defensive shift has been happening quietly, but it's one of the biggest reasons Denver looks dangerous again. And if you're rocking with the breakdown, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because there's way more coming your way. To be real, nobody knew if Denver actually had the right mix of players to make this jump. But they didn't just crack the top 10. They blasted all the way into the top 5. They're sitting 5th in the entire NBA in defensive rating, holding teams to 112.2 points per 100 possessions and locking opponents well below their usual output. Their point of attack defense looks tighter, more disciplined, and way more organized than anything we saw last year. The rotations are cleaner, sharper, and finally consistent. And Jokić is protecting the rim with the timing, discipline, and control you expect from a true defensive anchor. When you watch the film, it jumps out instantly. His reads are elite, like this rotation right here where Jokić slides over and takes away the baseline pass with perfect anticipation. That's real defensive playmaking at work. Then you've got another clip where he jumps to angle and blows up a pass to Drew Eubanks like he saw the whole thing coming before the ball even left the passer's hands. Slow it down, and you can literally watch how he reads the entire action before it even unfolds. And then there's that deflection on the Mahar pass. He's seeing plays 2 steps ahead at all times, moving like he's reading from a script nobody else has access to. And it's not just Jokić out there grinding. Peyton Watson, Christian Braun when he's healthy, and even Cam Johnson have been giving Denver real, meaningful defensive wing minutes that actually shift the energy on the floor. Last season, the Nuggets' biggest problem was that their defensive playoff game only showed up once the postseason arrived, leaving them vulnerable in the regular season when teams tested them from every angle. But this year, that defensive level is showing up early, and it's only November. That's exactly why the Houston game speaks loud. Denver didn't just randomly hold a top 3 offense to 12 points in one quarter. That's structure. That's preparation, and that's a full locker room locked in and buying into the plan they talked about all summer. You don't pull off something that sharp by accident. And what makes this whole defensive jump even crazier is that it's not just the starters carrying the weight anymore. This is where Denver has quietly made one of the biggest improvements in the entire league, and barely anyone has given it the shine it deserves. The bench has turned into a legit boost this season, and you can feel the difference every time the second unit hits the floor. The non-Jokić minutes will always be the big question for Denver. Every year, people ask the same thing. How do they survive when Jokić sits? Last season, Denver had a negative 9.8 net rating with him off the court, sitting in the 15th percentile. And when the playoffs came, those numbers dropped even lower. It was rough. And if you want more deep breakdowns like this, hit subscribe because we're dropping more fire soon. Last year, those non-Jokić minutes weren't just bad. They were a full disaster, sinking to a brutal minus 31.1 net rating, the worst mark in the entire NBA. Every possession looked shaky. Every lineup looked stressed, and the moment Jokić sat down, the whole vibe fell apart instantly. But this season, the shift is real, and you can actually see it in how steady the second unit looks. The second Joker steps off the floor. Thanks to some smart offseason moves, Denver finally built a bench they can trust. The non-Jokić minutes still aren't perfect at minus 6.6, but compared to last year, that's a massive upgrade and exactly what Denver needed. And honestly, that's more than enough because when Jokić is on the court, he gives them a plus 17.4 net rating all by himself. So if the bench can simply hold the game steady while he rests, that's already a huge win for this squad. Peyton Watson has taken a real leap and turned into a legit defensive rotation piece this season. Spencer Jones has been stepping in for spot minutes, bringing size, discipline, and clean, mistake-free basketball, something Denver was starving for last year. Tim Hardaway Jr. has become straight-up instant offense off the bench, heating up the second he checks in like he's flipping a switch. Jonas Valanciunas gives them a real interior presence and someone they can actually run actions through when Jokić is off the floor, which is huge for keeping the offense calm. And Bruce Brown is finally finding his rhythm again as that glue energy guy they leaned on heavy during their championship run, bringing back that steady vibe the second he checks in. So now when Jokić sits, Denver isn't falling apart the way they used to, not even close. The drop-off is smaller, the rotations finally make sense, and the whole squad looks way more organized than in past seasons. But even with a tougher bench and a stronger defense, none of this means anything unless the second star locks in. And this season, Jamal Murray is treating the regular season like it actually matters for real. This might be the first time in his whole career that he's locked in from jump. And honestly, that might be the biggest change of all. Jamal has always been a postseason problem. Everyone knows how dangerous he becomes when the lights get bright. But during the regular season, Denver never knew which version of him was walking through the tunnel. That's not the case anymore. This year, he looks like a completely different player. He's averaging 22.8 points, 6.5 assists, and 1.2 steals, shooting 54% effective field goal percentage, and playing with a level of consistency Denver has been begging to see for years. And if you're feeling this breakdown, hit that subscribe because more heat is dropping soon. You can tell he's taking the nightly grind way more seriously this season. He's more aggressive, more physical, and locked in from the opening tip. He's attacking mismatches right away instead of sitting back and waiting for the game to come to him like he used to. That shift in mindset is huge, and you can see it every time the ball touches his hands. In past years, fans would start stressing by midseason because Jamal Murray would cruise through the regular schedule with no real consistency. But this year, nobody's panicking because for the first time in his entire run, he looks like a legit all-star from October all the way through now. And he's been playing at that level every single week without dropping off. That's massive for Nikola Jokić because it means he doesn't have to carry the entire offense every single night. The Houston game showed it perfectly. Murray started ice cold, then flipped the switch in the second half like he just remembered who he was. He started hunting mismatches, hitting a clutch mid-range dagger, and making the smartest defensive read of the night by jumping Sheen's pass to Thompson, who was wide open in the dunker spot. That play ended up saving the whole game. And the wild part, it didn't feel like some random playoff mode miracle. This was the same Jamal we've been watching all month, the version that actually cares about November basketball instead of waiting until April to flip the switch. And when both of your stars are hooping like this before winter even hits, your whole ceiling jumps fast. That win over Houston wasn't just a solid win, it was a full message. It was a real test for Denver, and they answered it with control, poise, and straight-up playoff-level focus from tip to buzzer. And honestly, none of this shocks me at all because before the season even started, I picked Denver to win the championship. And nothing they've done has pushed me off that prediction one bit. If anything, the way they've looked, sharp, confident, and dominant, has me even more confident now, even with Oklahoma City looking strong on the other side. But while Denver is tearing through the West, something spicy is heating up in the East because the Detroit Pistons suddenly look like a real problem out there. And if you want to see why the numbers say that squad might actually be legit, the full breakdown is sitting right there waiting for you to dive in. So click it and show some love. And yo, don't forget to subscribe to keep the fire coming because we're nowhere near done yet. Did anything in this breakdown jump out to you? Or do you see the whole story in a different light? Drop a comment because I actually want to hear what you think. I appreciate everyone who pulls up to watch these breakdowns. For real, it means a lot. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, spill fame, and show love because that support keeps the channel alive and lets us keep dropping heat. And if you're hungry for more, there's a bunch of videos waiting for you right here on the channel. So tap into those next.